Hello, 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 and we're back and we're live. And I've got a fantastic tan. I'm hoping that first bit went, but always goes there. Gets me every time. Facebook Live gets me every time because it tells me I'm live and then I don't know what the hell is going on, but it is live, so there we go. Do you like the tan? Do I look sexy? I look fairly sexy with a tan. My holiday was great. I needed to relax. I read 3 books. I drank. I ate. Didn't leave the hotel. Sat by the pool 10 hours every day. Um, Recharged my batteries. Had a wonderful time. Back. Came back and then decided, right, I need to plan now for the general election. Because it's going to be towards the end of the year, isn't it? People are thinking October. People are thinking November. How wrong were everybody? Who would have guessed the beginning of July? It's thrown everything into disarray for me. I needed time. I needed 3, 4 months. I had a plan already worked out, an engagement plan, how I was going to reach out to the community, what my messages were going to be. And all of a sudden, yesterday, tea time, hey, that's politics, isn't it? Threw it all up in the air. Now, the only good part of this is everybody's in the same boat. Nobody saw this coming. Labour, Tories, Reform, Lib Dems, all the other independents, no one saw this coming. So we're all in the same boat. 6 weeks. Someone told me today it's 44 days. 44 days to save the UK. That's what we've got now. So let's have a chat about why they've called the election a snap election. Then we'll talk about where I'm standing. As you know now, it's Oldham, East and Saddleworth. And then we can talk about the help and support I need if I'm going to have a chance of winning that seat. And it looks like I've got a pretty good chance of winning there. We'll get into that. So first of all, general election. Well, do you know what? Let's do a couple of questions or whatever people are talking about. Oh no, we've got no comments yet. It could just be me talking to myself. General election. I thought there was a chance they would call the election for the 2nd of May, for the same day as the mayoral and local elections. I thought they may do that because the Free Palestine thing had kicked off. Summer wasn't here yet, so the boats weren't coming across the channel. And I thought they go early, it's going to be there, but they didn't. And then I thought it'll be as long as possible towards the end of the year. They'll wait until they've got some Rwanda flights taking off, and then they can have the election all about immigration. Look what we've done. We've finally closed the border. We're finally dealing with it. That would have been their message. It would have been a rubbish message. It would have been a lie, but that would have been their message. They would have turned the election into an immigration election. But they haven't. They've gone for this snap election on the 4th of July. Now, if you go on social media, people are talking about why they've done that. And the only explanation I've seen at the moment really is because of Nigel Farage. They were scared that if it went later, he would have enough time to jump in and stand, and he would cause them a lot more damage. I don't know if that's true or not, because he signed up to help with Trump on the American election, but that's not till November. He would have time to spend 6 weeks now doing this, because he's going to spend 6 weeks on GB News talking about this. So that means he could have stood if he wanted to. I've always got the impression that he doesn't want to stand. He stood for Parliament 7 times before, and when he stands, everybody comes out the woodwork, so he doesn't win. I think the Tories, from what I can remember, got fined and prosecuted off the Charity Commission for breaking rules and overspending at one of the elections just to keep him out of that seat. So maybe he's just not up for it anymore. I don't know. But that's, who cares now? We are where we are. 44 days to the election. How do we think they're going to do? Well, we all know Tories are going to lose. The Tories have to lose. They deserve to lose. And we're going to get a Labour government. Yes, we are. And people will argue, well, that's worse. Well, it may be worse. But we need to punish incompetence. when it manifests itself. Otherwise, we get more incompetence. Let's deal with the Tories first and punish them. Once Labour are in power, they won't be as bad as we think they're going to be. They're still going to be bad, and they'll probably still be worse than the Tories, but they're not going to be mental. Because once they get into power, they're going to want what every government always wants, and that's to be elected in again. So they're then going to have to deal with their crazy far-left lunatics, and they're going to start putting forward some fairly sensible policies, and they'll keep a handle on spending because we're bankrupt anyway. They're not going to be as bad as some people think they're going to be, but they are going to be bad. So I'm not saying they're not, they are. And do you know what? We deserve it. We deserve a Labour government. We deserve some pain, because it's the only way we learn. That's why we have such thing in our body as pain. It's so when we do something that causes pain, our brain remembers it so we won't do it again. That's all pain is for. It's to remind us not to do it again. And we've been voting in the wrong politicians, career politicians. We've been voting in far too much tax spending. We're voting in far too much socialist projects. We're voting in far too many benefits. And we keep doing it, and it's about time we felt some pain. And that's the way we're going to learn. So let's get a Labour government in, feel some pain, and maybe then as a nation, maybe then we can swallow that medicine and we can go no more, no more. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be a unique election. Tories are done. Nobody really wants Labour, but by default they'll be elected. The Greens may do better than expected because of Free Palestine, like they did at local elections. Lib Dems are, well, what are Lib Dems for? Nobody knows. Reform UK will be a dark horse. Are they going to do well? Are they going to destroy the Tories? Are they going to win any seats? Are they going to help Labour get elected, or are they going to damage Labour just as much as they damage the Tories? Who knows? This is a general election. Local elections a couple of weeks ago, turnout 30%, 35%. General election, turnout anywhere between 70 and 85%. So let's see how these parties do at that election. That'll give us an idea of where the country's heading to. Local elections and by-elections are really hard to gain any information out of that, but general elections you can. So I'm excited. I'm excited. So let's talk about me. Let's talk about my favourite subjects. Let's talk about me. Well, before we do that, have we got anyone joining us? Let's see who we got joining us. Andrew Vaughan, good luck in election, Nick. Thank you, Andrew. Steve Hemsley, what will you do about the fourth industrial revolution? There are all the jobs going to be computers. Primark now are self-service, saving them hundreds of thousands a year. I'm not worried about the fourth industrial revolution. We've had this before. Every time we have new technology, everyone goes, this will be the end of jobs. No, it won't. It'll be the end of some jobs, but it will create a load more jobs. And it will create industries we can't even think of. It will create new things we can't even think of. So I'm not worried about the fourth industrial revolution. I hope it gets rid of the poorly paid jobs, in which case we can spend some money on better paid jobs. And then we won't need immigration then, will we? We won't need mass immigration to fulfill the Uber drivers, to fill taxi drivers, to fill stacking shelves. We won't need those people. So I'm not worried about the fourth industrial revolution before. We've heard it all before. Every time something new comes along, it's going to destroy everything, and it never does. We're very adaptable as humans. We will find new ways. We will find new careers. We'll find new opportunities. It's an exciting time. Change is wonderful. It brings new opportunities. When we have stagnation, that's when everything starts collapsing. Because that's what we've got now, stagnation. So fourth industrial revolution, bring it on. Bring it on. Roy, I'll just see. Jane Lester, I think Reform will do well in terms of votes, but get very few seats. I hope you as an independent get voted in. And if you were standing in my constituency, I'd vote for you. Thank you. Reform, like I said, the dark horse. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know. They're going to get plenty of votes, but will that turn into seats? We don't know. Do you remember? It was only a few years ago, a couple of elections ago, that UKIP got 4 million votes and one seat. 4 million votes and one seat. And I think the SNP got 3 million votes and got 65 seats or something. So that's the system we have. So it'd be interesting to see. Interesting. Steve Hemsley, he's not worried, meaning me, as he aims to be an MP. MPs aren't needed, but you're still going for it. Well, I'm not worried about the fourth industrial revolution. No, I'm not. And do I aim to be an MP? I'm trying to be an MP because I want to improve my country. That's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because I need the money. I'm not doing it because I want the money. I'm not doing it because it makes me feel special. I'm semi-retired. I'd have a nice life now if I didn't care. I'm doing this because it needs to be done and I want to do it. That's why I'm doing it. John Clark, hello from North London. Hello, John. That's it for the moment. No, it's not. Roy Bridgewood labelled enslaved people in line with their WF financiers. I don't buy into the WEF world domination stuff. It's not a conspiracy theory because they've told us what they want. People can have views of how the world should be run, and they've told us their views. It will never get voted in. It's just a fad at the moment. It's nothing to worry about. The people you've not heard of, the people with lots of money pulling strings that you've never heard of, you don't even know what they're doing, they're the people you should be worried about, not a bunch of upper middle class yuppies who all want to slap each other on the back and then celebrate each other and call themselves a WAF. They're nothing to worry about at all. Honestly, I don't think they are. Jackie Gatside, why Oldham East and Saddleworth? Good question. Roy Bridgewood again, why Oldham? Steve Hemsley is getting on my tits now, so I won't be replying to anything else he's doing. So let's get into. Oh, let's read a couple more. Michelle Oakley, shame you didn't pick Lee, but all the best, thank you. There's many areas I could have picked, many. James Smith, do you think the water companies should be better or worse publicly owned? Big question. Anything government run is guaranteed to be poor. Anything privately run has a risk of being run well or run poor. So that's a chance you take. Our government is so pathetic, we don't enforce the regulations that are there to ensure we have clean water and that refuge isn't dumped in rivers and seas. It's government fault. So it is complicated. It's complicated, but they're failing, aren't they? David Jack Walker, if you become MP, will you push to make voting law and use fingerprint technology? No, I won't. We've got a problem with UK politics and across the West. So we don't need technology in our voting booths. It's very hard to fake and to interfere with 14 million paper ballot votes. It's almost impossible. Very easy to hack a computer and change 14 million votes and then cover your tracks. That's quite easily done. So we don't need technology in our voting system. We need to look at postal votes. Postal votes is where mass fraud happens. We know that. Not going to the polling booth. That does happen at a polling booth, but a person might be able to do 2 or 3 people, pretend to be 2 or 3 people. That doesn't change elections. But mass postal votes, where you can collect 10,000 postal votes, fill them in and send them off, that changes elections. So I'm not worried about that. Compulsory voting. Do we want compulsory voting? No. I don't want the government in our lives. I don't want them telling us what we can do, what we can't do. And I definitely don't want them forcing us to do things, because it's a slippery slope. First of all, we're going to force you to vote. Then we're going to force you to vote not to vote that way. Then we're going to force you to vote this way. See how it all goes? If people don't want to vote, that's their democratic right not to vote. It's the wrong decision, but it's their democratic right not to vote if they don't want to. Sometimes it's the only way we can protest. So no, I wouldn't be pushing for any of that. Jackie Pearson, good luck. Wish you were standing in our constituency, Sale and Partington. Buses out of Partington are 1 an hour, although housing estates are being thrown up. Just one bus feeds Partington to Manchester. Good luck, mate. Thank you, Jackie. Again, I looked at Partington. I really did, because that's an area I know fairly well. Roy Bridgewood, Berry Mayorville vote had an issue. Well, it's in the paper at the moment, isn't it? I'm not sure if it's the Mayorville vote, but the elections a couple of weeks ago in Berry are now being investigated by the police. From what I've read, I've only read it's because somebody who's doing the counting was the nephew or cousin of the person standing. That's what I read. But again, even if I'd have won Berry, I still would have lost the election, because Andy Burnham did extremely well. So no system's completely fair. No system. So that's it for questions at the moment. Let's get into why Oldham, East and Saddleworth. Oh, why? Why? Out of everywhere in Greater Manchester, 27 seats, I think there is, parliamentary seats in Greater Manchester. Why Oldham, East and Saddleworth? Well, on the day of the election results, Saturday the 4th of May, sat in a pub looking at the results coming in, and then suddenly they all appeared and I'd come third, as you know. And I looked at which councils had voted for me the most or the least. I wanted an idea of where I did well and where I didn't do so well. And automatically Oldham Council jumped out. I got twice as many votes in Oldham than anywhere else in Greater Manchester. And that was like, wow, there's something going on in Oldham. Nothing to do with me. You know, I treated all 10 areas equally. I tried to get votes in all the areas, but something different was in Oldham that made them vote for me in twice the numbers anywhere else did. In some areas, they voted for me 4 times as much in Oldham. And I'm looking at that going, right, if I stand for a parliamentary seat, I need to look at Oldham, don't I? Makes just common sense tells you you've got twice as much support there than anywhere else. Now, that wasn't the only factor, but that was the first factor that jumped out on me. And then I started, the next few days, I started researching different seats, different areas, looking at who had those seats, how secure were those seats, what was the majority, who else was standing, any other independents had declared for those seats, and if it was a Labour stronghold, which most of the seats are, was George Galloway's party standing in that area at general election? And I looked at Bury South, I looked at Tameside, I looked at some places in Wigan, I looked at Wythenshawe, and then I decided, right, I looked at all the information, and the seat that kept jumping out at me was Oldham, East and Saddleworth. Jumped out, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, the MP for the area at the moment is a lady called Debbie Abrahams. She's been there now for 10 years. Her majority at the last election in 2019 was 1,500 1,500 votes was what she won her seat by. That's not a lot. 1,500 votes is not a lot. And then she got back, I think she got 20,000 votes. And the Tories came second with 18,500 votes. So neck and neck. There was one or two independents. Everybody else didn't do well at all. So Lib Dems, Greens, Reform, or was it no Brexit Party at the time it was called. They all did maximum 2,000 votes. Some did 1,000, some did under. So there was no competition apart from the Tory party. Now we know that Tory party from 2019's gone. It's decimated. No one's voting for Tories this election. At the mayoral election across Greater Manchester, the Tory vote halved. So let's say it halves now in Oldham East and Saddleworth. That means the Tories will get 10,000. That means there's 10,000 votes there from the Tories up for grabs. I'm in line for that. Now let's look at Labour. Labour got 20,000 votes. But George Galloway's Workers' Party has already announced their candidate. It's on Wikipedia. She announced months ago, or weeks ago anyway. She's standing. The Workers' Party will halve Labour's votes, if not more. So Labour are down to 10,000 as well. I probably won't be getting many of those votes. So suddenly this race is wide open. If you look at the mayoral election, I got approximately 5,000 votes from this seat. So let's say the vast majority of them stay with me anyway, because they voted for me for the mayoral election. Why wouldn't they vote for me again? 2 months later, they probably would. So I've already got 5,000 votes there. Labour's on 10, Workers' Party's on 10, Tories on 10. That's doable. I just need 5,000 more votes. I'm going to hopefully take a big chunk of those Tory. Well, let's look at the Tory votes. So Tory votes then will be 10,000 votes there floating. Let's say Reform UK stand, which they probably will. If you base it on the Greater Manchester mayoral result, I take half, they take half. So I'm on 10,000 now, with Labour, with the Workers' Party, with the Tories. Reform on 5,000. All I need now is to tap into some of those working class neighbourhoods in Oldham East and Saddleworth who don't vote, who don't turn up, and sell them my message. I'm not a Tory because they've ruined the country in 14 years. I'm not Labour. They've been in charge of your area for decades and it's going downhill all the time. You don't want to vote for the Workers' Party. Other parties can't win. Reform can't win. Greens can't win. Lib Dems can't win. So your choice is Labour, Tories, or an independent. That's a great message. I can sell that. I can sell that message. Hence why I've picked this seat. I've got a real chance of winning here. It was perfect. It was perfect. So that's why I picked this seat. Now, what do we do now? Well, first of all, let's see if there's anybody else got anything to say. Here we go. Victoria Isabella. Is that you and the apple juice again? Yes, it's alcohol apple juice. Shola, good luck, Nick. Thank you. Jane Lester. What put you off Berry South, Nick? I'm in that area and would have loved to see you stand there. Berry South was number 2. I have to be honest. Berry South was number 2. The difference between Berry South and Oldham East and Saddleworth was the simple fact that that area voted for me. I think it was 3 times in the numbers that Berry South did. So it's pure numbers of why Oldham East topped Berry South. Victoria again, interesting demographic in Oldham. Saddleworth is a great place, little village up that way called Upper Mill is beautiful. Nice pub called the Wagon Inn, yes. Saddleworth is beautiful. Oldham East is a bit complicated. If you look at there's nine council wards in this parliamentary area. 3 of them have higher proportions of Asians, ranging from 45% to 65%. But the other 6 wards are something like 98% white. So there's different demographics there. And I'm not aiming for one of those demographics. I'm aiming for everybody. I'm not here to just go after the white vote or the Asian vote. I'm here to go after votes of people who call themselves English and British. They're the votes I'm looking after, that I'm looking for. So I will be engaging the Asian community, because the Asian community isn't a block. They all don't think the same. They all don't want the same. They're a diverse community. Many were born here. They want this country to succeed. Of course they do. They're not idiots. So it'll be how I do my messaging, will be complicated and different, but my messaging will be the same for everybody. It's about creating a better Oldham and Saddleworth for everybody. It's about reducing the tensions, about cleaning up the crime. It's about punishing people who allow our children to be raped. It's about stop building on the green belt and destroying our heritage. So all those messages will resonate with everybody. So I'm not too worried about that. Andrew Vaughan, good luck in the election. Sorry, I've done that one. Victoria again. William Brown just tuned in, Nick. Thank you, Billy. Paula Pearson, good luck, Nick. Go get him. Oh, definitely. I'm definitely gonna go get Debbie. I've not heard one good report on Debbie Abrams, the covered MP for the area. People say she's missing in action. Never met her, never see her. So I'm after her, absolutely. Rose Stewart says having problems playing this video. That might be in your internet. I have no. Well, I'd be guessing if I knew why. I'm lucky I get this working. I need IT support based on my office. That's what I need. So that's why I've picked that area. I have a good chance of winning. If the stars align, anything can happen. But everything I would wish to happen is in that seat, apart from one thing, and that's an early election. I wanted an October election. Come back off holiday, I was putting a plan together. I had lots of things I wanted to do to build my reputation, to get my name out there, and all that now is gone. 6 weeks, 44 days. It's battle stations, it's doing as much as I can. But again, like I said before, the plus side is everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's in the same boat, even the Tories. Because none of the Tories knew this was coming either. Even David Cameron didn't know this was happening, because he landed in Albania for a meeting and had to cancel the meeting, get back on a plane and fly back. So even he didn't know this was happening. So no one's prepared for this. So it's probably equalised it a bit. Because maybe if it was a longer run up to the election, I would imagine the political parties would be doing better, because they've got the manpower, they've got the money, they've got the foot soldiers, they've got the experience and know what they're doing. So maybe I would fare worse then. So maybe this has equalised that out, that we're all going to be equally bad and equally poor and equally underperform. So maybe that's a good sign. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to think now. That's an equaliser, messing us all around equally. So what do I want to do now? What do I need now? Well, first of all, if you live in Oldham East and Saddleworth and you're a supporter and you want to help me, then get in contact, because I need soldiers on the ground. I need people to do leafleting for me. Especially need to begin with, I need people organising little meetings for me. So why don't you speak to your neighbours, and 5 years, sit in your living room and invite me down. I'll speak to 5 years. Then you can tell your friends and family then about what we discussed, who I am, and if I'm honourable and if I'm trustworthy. Or if you've got some mates down the pub, well, invite me to the pub. Let's have a pint. Me, you and your 6 mates. And we can talk about things. And if you want a slightly bigger event, look at your local community centre or an upstairs room in the pub and organise it and get 10, 20 people there, and I'll turn up and I'll speak and you can ask me questions. I need to meet as many local people as possible. I can do it all on the internet, like I did the Marvel thing, but that was because Greater Manchester was too big. One parliamentary area isn't that big. I want to meet people. I want to shake hands. I want to answer questions face to face. I know that the more people who meet me and speak to me and look in my eyes, the more votes I'll get. I can guarantee 98% of people who meet me will then vote for me. I'm positive of that. So if you want to organise any of those events, just let me know. I'll turn up. Especially if it's in the pub. But let me know. I just need to meet people. If you're a member of a home watch or a member of a residents group or tenants association, invite me. I'll come speak for 10 minutes. I'll tell you about what I want for your area. There's loads of groups out there who are meeting all the time, doing great work in their communities. Invite me along. No other politician will give you this access. No other politician will turn up and speak to 3-4 of yous or speak to 50 of yous. They won't do it unless it's organised, unless they know the questions in advance, unless they've got security. I don't have security, it's just me. I'll turn up. Let's have a chat. Ask anything you want. You know that by now. You can ask anything you want and you'll get a straightforward answer. Even if you don't like the answer, you're going to get it anyway. So that's what I need. I'm going to be designing a leaflet over the next few days and obviously get that printed up. So I need people. What I need a couple of hundred people who want to leaflet, but not doing it for hours and hours and hours at weekends. I want people to say, I live on this street. I live Coronation Street. And I'm willing to leaflet the 10 streets around me. And that will take me 1 hour. And I'll leaflet every weekend for 1 hour and I'll do my 10 streets. But if I can get a couple of hundred people doing 10 streets and doing different areas, then it's not a lot of work for one individual. But then I'm getting those leaflets out, and I need leaflets going more than once. I'm talking about at least 4 leaflets being delivered. So if you fancy doing that, let me know. I'm looking for volunteers for that. I'm also looking for volunteers if you think you're a bit of an expert on social media. If you think, oh, I'm a bit of an expert, me, on TikTok, and please get in contact. I need help on all these social media platforms. I'm just a good amateur playing at it. But I want to find someone who can be in charge of Twitter, someone else in charge of Instagram, someone else in charge of, what's the other one I was looking at? Telegram. I don't even know what Telegram is. I thought it was something like WhatsApp, but then there's groups on there now. So I need people who think they're not an expert as in you make a living at it, but a good amateur. If you like that app, then let me know, and I need someone helping me on those apps, putting stuff out there, telling me what I'm doing wrong, even taking over the app, the one app for one person, so it's not a lot of work. So if you're good at those sort of stuff, get in contact, please, because I'm going to need it. And then there's all sorts of other things I'm going to need, but I'm going to put some posts out on social media about what I'm looking for. I need some people with lots of local knowledge. So who are those people? So when I'm saying I need to engage people in Shaw, I need to engage people in Upper Mill, I need someone who says, right, you need to speak to these 4 people because they're movers and shakers. You need to contact this residents group. You need to contact this Facebook group. I need people who know this stuff. So if you're a local person with lots of local knowledge, get in contact. It's valuable to me. So all those sort of things If you've got something I've not mentioned but you think it's going to be valuable, just contact me. There's lots of things I need that I've not realised I need until someone raises it. What else are we looking at? And then tomorrow, which is very fortuitous, we have the Whit Friday walks in Saddleworth and the brass band contests. So I'm going to be there all day tomorrow. I'm going to be in Delft in the morning. I'm going to get there about 8:30 to meet the Delft band. And I'm going to do the church walk at Delft. And then I'm going in the afternoon to Scout and I'm watching the bands there. So along the way, or if you're in those places, let me know. Let me know on social media when I'll be posting live while I'm there doing videos. So if you're in the area, let me know and I can wave and we can meet up, or I'll tell you what pub I'm in or what cafe I'm sat having a bacon sandwich in. Come and meet me. I'm open. Just come and meet me. But I'll be in Saddleworth all day tomorrow. And then hopefully over the next 6 weeks, I need to organise some events as well in pubs and stuff like that, community centres. But it'd be great if local people organise them themselves, because that's how you can guarantee people will turn up. I've done events before where everyone says they're going to come and you spend hours organising it and turning up and you sit there with me and that's it. So I want to avoid that. But that's the sort of stuff I need to be doing. But if you're at the Friday Whit Walks tomorrow, come say hello. I'm thoroughly looking forward to this. I've been checking the weather for days. It looks like it's going to rain now. Up to today, it looked like it wasn't going to rain, but it could rain. But hey, we're in the UK. We're in Greater Manchester. It rains all the time. So, have we got any more comments? Victoria, if you're elected, what is the first thing you want to change in Oldham for the people? What's the absolute priority? So the priority will be, let me get back to that. Priority will be crime. Crime including child sexual abuse. That will be my priority. And it was a priority when I was running for mayor. We can't live in society where our streets are not safe. We can't live in a place where our children and our women are afraid to go outside, or we're afraid for them. We can't live in a place where people sexually abuse our children and no one takes responsibility and the council cover it up and the police don't care. We can't live in a society like that. That's how we'll end up with a version of Mad Max. Now, another priority will be Oldham Council. I've said this for about 1.5 years now. Oldham Council is the most corrupt council in Greater Manchester. It's horrendous. They've stopped a public inquiry over their child sexual abuse scandal and cover-up. They've stopped it. They won't have one. Why wouldn't you have an inquiry if you've got nothing to hide? But they have got something to hide. One of the abusers of one of the other scandals either worked in Oldham, he worked in Oldham Council and abused in Rochdale. It needs looking into. What did those councillors know? How much information did they get? But I'll tell you what, some of them turned a blind eye and allowed our children to be raped and abused. So we need to hold Oldham Council to account. That's one of the main reasons why I'm running again. Only a sick society doesn't protect its children. Only cowards don't hold criminals accountable. So Oldham Council, I'm gonna tear apart with the powers that I have as MP, which aren't that many, by the way. But I can demand stuff as an MP. I can embarrass the council, and that's what I'll be doing. Then we need to look at the green belt. Some beautiful places in Oldham and Saddleworth, and we're concreting over it. My answer is we never build on the green belt. Never, ever, ever. Any application that comes in for the green belt should be automatically rejected, saying touches the green belt. The answer is no. We're not even reading it. It touches the green belt. The answer is no. Because once we've concreted over the green belt, it's never coming back. Don't live in a concrete jungle. We need to keep those spaces. And people say, we need more housing. Yes, we do need more housing. But destroying our green belt will not solve the housing crisis when we keep letting in 1 million people into the country every year. We solve the housing crisis by ending mass immigration. Problem solved. And not even just housing problem solved. All our problems never enough get solved. Less crime, less demand on the NHS, less demand in schools. So let's end mass immigration, and that's what I'll be fighting for in Parliament. So there's some of my priorities, but I want to spend the next 6 weeks listening to people, listening to local people. What are your priorities? I think I know what they are, but until I speak to the people, it's just educated guessing, because each area has different priorities, and I want to know what they are. Billy tuned in. Billy, again, you've done an amazing job highlighting child abuse cases in Greater Manchester area. Thank you. I've tried my best. I've been doing this now for 20 years. I've stopped over 15 girls being raped and 1 boy being raped. I've had prosecutors arrested and I've had offenders prosecuted and arrested. I won a national award in 2015 for tackling this issue. So I'm not jumped on the bandwagon. I did a TV thing with Granada Reports 10 years ago maybe, about a project I set up to tackle this. I've been doing this for 2 decades. I haven't jumped on the bandwagon. I don't think it's a politically correct thing to talk about stopping child abuse. I've done it. I've been there. I've been fighting this for 2 decades. I've been talking about it for 2 decades. It's extremely important. We all should be ashamed of ourselves. All of us should be ashamed of ourselves that we've allowed this to go on. We never had marches in the streets, did we? No one waved flags, stop our kids being raped. No one did any of that. We all turned a blind eye and we're all scared of being called hurty words, so we allowed it to go on. We're all to blame for this. Victoria again, any idea why a general election has been called? Good question. Why has it been called? I talked about this a little while ago, but why has it been called? Rishi Sunak's not stupid. He's probably worked out this is his best chance, as in he knows things are going to get worse. He knows he's not going to get any flights off to Rwanda. He knows over the summer he's going to see more and more illegal boats. He knows Reform UK are going to probably get stronger and stronger and stronger. He also knows that the reputation of the Tories is only going to go one way. You couldn't save the Tories now, even if you brought back Thatcher and Churchill. You couldn't save the Tories. They're done. They're done at this election. We've all had enough. We don't even listen to them anymore now. So he knows they're done. He's just trying to make the beating slightly less worse than it's going to be. So I think that's why he's done. I also guarantee within a year, if he loses his seat at the election, within a year he won't even be in the UK anymore. He's waiting to move to America. He already had a green card several years ago to move to America. And when it got discovered he had a green card, he had to cancel it. And a green card is basically a visa to move to America. He intends to move to America with his family. I don't think he's got any real commitment to the UK. He's a traveller. His grandparents were travellers. His parents were travellers. His grandparents went from India to Africa to live there. His parents, born in Africa, moved to the UK. He's born in the UK. He'll move to America. He's a nomad. He will go wherever is the best place for him and his family. He has no real connection to the UK. Again, this is another problem we have with immigration. And this isn't just because he's Asian. I had Irish friends born here when I was younger. Born in Manchester, raised in Manchester, went to school in Manchester, bought a house in Manchester, and would say to me, I'm Irish. You're not Irish, you're English. You've got an English passport. Oh, I feel Irish. So this isn't a colour thing. This is a nationality thing. And it's killing us. You can't have people running our country who will not die for the country, who are waiting to move to another country. Makes no sense. Matthew Wally. Hi Nick, will there be will be in the Three Crowns pub, Huddersfield Road in Scout Head, 4 p.m. for the band concert. Right, I'm going to make a note of that. Three Crowns, you may see me in it, but again, don't forget, I don't know what you look like. So you take a picture of me, and any stranger that walks in wandering around the pub, shout Nick. If I turn around, it's me. So make sure you shout me and approach me, because I don't know what anyone looks like. Billy Brown, I've met with Nick. He invited me to his house for a discussion, and he's a genuine person. He means what he says. He advised me on how to help my community and went on to become successful youth projects. Billy's a great guy. Lives in Stockport. We need more Billies in these communities who love their community, who spend their spare time improving their communities. And that's what we need to do as a nation, create more Billies. Alison Cooper, will you be in the Three Crowns at Scout? Well, yeah, I will be. Now that Matthew will be, and it sounds like you might be, the Three Crowns at Scout Head. Yes, I'm going to be in there. Matthew again, I'll get you in the Spinner's Arms in Springhead for a chat. I'll have a word with Mick the landlord to get something organised. Oh, excellent. Yeah, honestly, get it organised. I'm there. I need to speak to as many people as possible. That's it for messages at the moment. But let's round up. I'm excited. I really am. I know what it feels like. The last 6 weeks of a campaign. So, last month when I was running for mayor, it's exciting. It's non-stop. Everyone's talking about it. And in one way, I'm glad it's only a 6-week campaign. Because if it was a year campaign again, I think my wife would leave me. My wife's had enough of all this. She supports me, but she's had enough. It's long hours. It's me not being at home. It's me being in the office every evening and hardly seeing her, hardly speaking to her. So that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And I'm willing to make it because I love my country. And unless all of us try to improve it, then things will just get worse. And I'm not saying for one moment I'm the answer. I'm not saying for one moment I've got any of the right answers. I might be an idiot. I might have all the wrong answers. I might have the right answers but never succeed. But that isn't the issue. I'm still trying. We enter races not because we know we're going to win. That's not really a race, is it? We enter races so we can push ourselves, so we can be better than we were yesterday. And that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a better person than I was yesterday. I'm trying to be a better patriot than I was yesterday. And I'm trying to put other people ahead of me more than I did yesterday. And I want my country to succeed. And if I do become elected to Oldham, East and Saddleworth, well, they've got the same problems as the rest of the country. And if we can make changes there, we can highlight to the rest of the country. You don't have to put up with what you've got. And every war is won by winning a battle at a time. And this battle at the moment is in Oldham, East and Saddleworth. And if we can win this battle, we're one battle closer then to winning the war. That's why I'm standing. You need to either help me or stand yourself at a local election. But you need to do something as well. You can't be a passenger. We have no room for passengers now. You need to be active. What that means to be active, I don't know. That's for you to decide what it means to be active. You need to do what you can do. Doesn't mean you have to do what I do or what someone else does. Because you're a different person with different skills, different commitments, different experiences. But you need to be part of the fight. You need to be able to say every week, look at those little things I've done. I've made the country slightly better. Or I've helped him and he might make the country slightly better. We're all in this together. Stop waiting for someone else to improve your life, to improve your neighbourhood, to improve your country. Because that's what got us into this mess in the first place. Waiting for governments to do it for us. Governments will never improve your life, ever. Only you can improve your life. The best a government can do is stop hindering you and stopping you improving your life. That's the best we expect from a government. So that's why I'm standing. Final couple of remarks. Jane again. Nick, you are trying so hard to really engage with local people in the area where you're standing. Best of luck. We need more people like you all over the country standing for local people. We do. I'm not saying we need more people like me, because I'm nothing special about me. But we need more local people standing up. And we need more local people getting involved in local politics at the grassroots level, councils. That's what we need. Let's start changing where we live. Because if you look at the UK and we say, how do we change the UK? Well, it's almost impossible, isn't it, to start thinking about what you need to do. But when you look at your area and you go, what can I do to improve my area? Well, do you know what? I might start litter picking. That's what I might start doing. Just going to get a bag and I'm going to start going around picking up litter in the streets near me. That's improved my area a little bit. That might then encourage someone else to do something else, who then encourages someone else. So when you look at a big problem, you've got to split it into tiny, tiny pieces, and you start tackling each tiny piece at a time. And that's what you need to do. Stop worrying about the problems we've got are too big. It's too big. It's overwhelming. This country's finished. I'm sick of people telling me this country's finished. No, we're not. People told us this country was finished in 1939. We were waiting for Hitler to invade across the channel. People wanted to do deals with Hitler because we're over, we're finished. Well, no, we weren't finished, were we? And there's situations like that throughout our history. Just because we're afraid, just because we think we're going to lose, just because we're not good enough, doesn't mean the country's not good enough. Because collectively we are. We're the most amazing people in the most amazing country ever to exist on this planet. The English, read any history books. We created the modern world. We created most stuff. We created science. That's what the English did. And now you're telling me we're not good enough. Well, we are good enough. We've got a huge problem in front of us. Of course we have. But people who tell you England's finished, what they really mean is, I'm too afraid to try. And because I'm too afraid to try, I don't want to admit I'm afraid. So it's easy for me to say, the battle's over and we've lost. That's easier for me, because now I don't have to worry about me being a coward. That's the truth. And it's harsh words. We need to stop being cowards. Because we're not finished. The best is yet to come from this country. But a self-fulfilling prophecy of English people going, this country's over. I don't play that game. We're not over. We're over if you keep saying it and keep convincing more people we're over. Eventually we may be over. We can beat this. We can turn our country around. It just needs people improving their neighbourhoods as a start. And that will catch on. And then we can start looking at the bigger problems. And then we can start looking at government. But doing nothing isn't an option. Never has been an option. Alim, nice to see you back. Knowledge is power. Yes, it is. Billy, you're a real guy standing up for the community. Thank you again, Billy. Jane Smith, good luck, Nick. Not local to me in Oldham, but I'll do my best to help promote you where I can. One better MP in Parliament is a benefit to us all. Spot on, yes it is. So, of course, most people in Greater Manchester can't vote for me because you don't live in Oldham East and Saddleworth. But that doesn't mean you can't support me. That doesn't mean you can't share my social media and talk about me to other people, especially if you know people living in Oldham East and Saddleworth. And let's say I do become an MP and I do get to Parliament. I can make waves. Believe me, I'll make waves. I'll hold people to account. I'll embarrass people. I'll embarrass everyone who sat in that chamber and has done nothing for years. Because I'm not in this for me. I'm not looking for a ministerial job. I'm not looking to be Prime Minister. I'm looking to rock this boat so hard some of the corrupt politicians fall overboard. That's what I'm looking to do. So if we can get some good people in Parliament, that's how it starts to change. It won't change overnight. But we've got to get some fresh blood with new ideas and decent morality back into Parliament. And that's the first step to changing our government and our government processes in the UK. So all starts with small steps. That's it again for messages. So that's where we are. That's why I'm standing in that seat. That's why I'm fairly confident I've got a very good chance of winning. I'll be advertising for help and support over the next couple of weeks. But if you know you can help me, get in contact. I've got a website being designed that should be up and running Tuesday evening, maybe Wednesday. So that'll be up in a couple of days. There'll be a form on there you can fill in to volunteer. But keep in contact and help. Can't win this on my own. I never would have come third in the mayoral election without you, without your help and support. I never would have beat Reform UK, the Greens, the Lib Dems, without your help and support. Because I had no money. I had no backers. All the mainstream media ignored me, wouldn't invite me to the hustings, but I still came third. And that's because the people heard my messages and liked it and wanted it. And we can do this even better now in Oldham East because I've got a better reputation now. 5,000 people in Oldham East have already heard of me and have already voted for me. It won't be hard to get another 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people. That will win the election. This is very doable. But thank you for tuning in tonight. And I'm going to do this now twice a week. So next one, so every Sunday and Wednesday evenings, 7 p.m. Sunday evenings, Wednesday evenings, Facebook Live with me, and we'll chat about how the election's going. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. Thank you for coming along again, and I'm sure I'll speak to you all again soon. Let me have a last check on any messages. Last one. Pete Brownbill, Oldham Council are a disgrace. Yes, they are. What a great note to end on. Yes, they are. Disgraceful. Most corrupt council in Greater Manchester. And they're in for a shock if I become an MP. I'll be having none of it. Enjoy the rest of your evening and I'll see you soon.